So we're back again for another dive into paint world. If you've been following for a while, you'll know I am trying to get into spraying my bikes a bit more with spray cans. Started with a bit of Spray.Bike and I've moved on to Montana. This time I am going back to the Spray.Bike, but I do prefer the Montana paint. I do believe it gives a lot better finish. However, I will try my best with this. This one is early 90s Scott mountain bike frame. I want to try something a little bit different. I want to go for the marble effect route. So this is going to be my experience with it. I'll try and give you some hints and tips along the way. I've watched a couple of videos on it and we'll see the results. But first I need to put the primer on using the Spray.Bike Framebuilders Zinc primer. So that will go on and then tomorrow we will start the process of building up that marble effect. Wow, that reacted. So that zinc primer was horrible to use. Typical Spray.Bike, I think. It's had all the overspray just fall onto the wet paint down here, so I've got to really do some sanding to get that away. Top tube is the same. Even the good areas are, you know, slightly rough, so it's really going to need some sanding. Also, I think I captured it on the camera when I was spraying, but that paint really does not like to go on thick, much like the other Spray.Bikes. So you can, you know, the colours, you can really layer those on. The normal primer, you can layer that on. This, if you went too slow, laid it on too thick, it just reacted with itself, in a sense, and just bubbled up. So, yeah, not too good from that, not too impressed. Giving that a good sand down now. But what I want to do on this bike is use decals as a bit of a template. So I've got these are modern ones, they're not the originals. I'm just going to spray some various colours on in patches, put these over the top before I do the black base coat. Now this is just going to be a template as such, not a template, yeah I guess maybe masking, just to get the logo in place with the colours that I've got underneath. As I said, it's a modern Scott logo, somewhere around there I reckon. Whoops, oh no, that was a mistake. Too aggressive there. Okay, so to start this marble effect, I guess, trial, I'm going to use a black base coat. You don't have to use black, of course, you can use any colour you want as a base, but I'm going to do a black base coat, and these three colours that I've sprayed underneath the decals I'm going to use as the sort of marble effect. So I've got a pink, a baby blue and a purple, but everything at the moment has to be covered up with a black. So I'm going to use my, what is it, Spray.Bike London Blackfriars and just go over everything. One thing I will say, with the Spray.Bike, that can at least had quite a wide, inconsistent spray pattern. So really watch out for all the little details around, all these cable guides, the mudguard mounts, the seat binder pin. Just keep an eye out on what you're spraying around them, because it might look like you've covered them. It's likely that it's missed a spot just because the spray pattern isn't all that great. So I had to really get up close and go around stuff to make sure I had all the details in. Now I've seen a couple of ways of doing this. Base coat is done. It's time to apply the marble effect. Etoe, if you've seen some of his videos, Wizard with Paint, has done a video like this where he's used, granted, a wet paint, so I'm not sure the Spray.Bike is going to work with this, but sprayed it onto a board, a template of some kind, laid some cling film, some plastic over the top, scrunched it up a bit, and then put it on the frame. So I'm just going to try that first. Well, it might work. Not really. It is very dry. Okay, so it sort of worked. I don't know if it looks quite marbly, but we're going to try another method as well. But that gives the general gist of it, just scrunching it up, trying to get peaks and troughs, I guess, and then just laying it over in those scrunches, patting it down in places. Yeah, that's what it's come out like. Now another method I've seen is, we've seen it on OldShovel's channel, a few others, and it's just getting some plastic, scrunching it up, spraying onto there, and dabbing it onto the frame. So might as well try that as well. Just a light spray, too light. And that's not looking actually too bad. One thing I would say was don't go too heavy on it, be wary of how thick it's going, because I dabbed a little bit too much there, so it was too wet. But the rest of it, it's not looking too bad, so I'm going to put some pink on as well. And I've got to say, I'm pretty damn stoked about how this is turning out. I know I'm hard on Spray.Bike quite a bit, as I prefer the Montana cans, but it's not looking too bad. The primer went on terrible. A lot of sanding later, the top coat, the base coat, the black, didn't go on too bad, but just using the colours just to like stipple it to try and create a marble, if you will, effect, and using the decals as a bit of a stencil. I love it. Yeah. So I'm just going to do clear now. I'm going to use the Spray.Bike finish, what's it called? Using a Spray.Bike Framebuilders transparent finish, probably a couple of cans, 3 cans if I've got them, just to go over everything and hopefully give it a bit of protection. I know, again, I've switched to 2K clear, which would only require 1 can and give a super glossy finish, quite durable, but I need to use up these cans, so this it is. And there we go. That is ready to be built now. It's ready to be completed. The marble effect didn't quite turn out how I had imagined in my head. I was always basing it off a 94 Diamondback Ascent that I've had, and trying to recreate that, but I actually love how it's turned out. Yeah, the 2 styles of applying the sort of marble effect, you know, both have their merits, both work quite well. I think it's a lot easier to just spray, you know, the scrunched up plastic and dab that onto the frame. You've just really got to take your time with it and take it easy on the paint. If you go at it too hard and spray too much on the plastic, then you'll end up with big dabs. This head tube, I think, is pretty perfect. Like, I love how it's turned out. It's very light on the sort of marbling effect, but we've also got the purple, the pink, and the blue all on the head badge perfectly. Like, I love how that's turned out. And this is one area that I think didn't turn out as I'd imagined, mainly because I used too much paint on the plastic at one time, so it's just, you see, it's all just splodged down here. But, you know, lessons learned. It was the first time trying this, and I'm just trying to pass on what I've learned from that. I would also say I love how the stenciled decals come out, spraying the colours underneath and then going over them from a pink to purple to blue. Each one's different. I've got obviously one each side on the down tube, one each side on the chainstays. I've got a secret Scott logo on the back of the down seat tube and on the head tube. But yeah, they turned out quite well. The decals did pull out, it seems, some of the vibrance from that, some of the pigment, some of the colour, maybe left over a bit of residue as well. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what went on there, but yeah, it just seemed to pull out some of the pigment. It's not quite as bright, but I love the subdued look at it. And just to address the whole Spray.Bike thing, yes, I've done a review video on it before and I didn't really like it. This is turned out really nice, I think, but it can be better. The zinc primer that I used, I didn't really like at all. It was that horrible dusty mess left over, especially in the parts on the bottom bracket and around, you know, the base of the chainstays here. So I really had to sand that back, so I did get that smooth. The black is fine, there's no problem using that, but you know, the lighter colours are a bit dusty, and this has actually had 2 coats now of the what's it called, the Transparent Framebuilders finish, whatever. It's had 2 cans of that at the moment just on this frame, and it's, I'd say, nowhere near as solid, as shiny as the 2K. So you know, 2 cans of this, I'd say I'm going to put a 3rd can on, so you'll see that on the build. But yeah, 2K is definitely, I think, recommended as a finish. And me personally, I just prefer using the Montana cans now. I think they're a bit easy to use, they're a bit more fluid without being completely watery, whereas the Spray.Bike is very powdery. But it is all a learning thing. Everyone prefers different things, so this build has been pretty much entirely with, well, it has been entirely with Spray.Bike, and I like it. I really like how it's turned out, although that is mainly the design and not the finish. But yeah, there we are. I'm just going to end the video off now. If you want to see the build, make sure you do subscribe and well, catch that one when it comes out. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the next instalment in my sort of spray journey, and do all the liking and sharing about and commenting on that, because yeah, this has turned out really nice. I really like it, and this might be a keeper now. Look out for the build when it comes. Thanks for watching.